Hello there, my name's Chris and I'm going to demonstrate the manual lockpicking gun to you for lockpickworld.com. Now I'm in a very busy area and I've tried to make this video a few times. There's a lot of noise coming from outside and every time I try and make a video it's like the loudest motorbike in the world wants to drive past. Anyway, we'll persevere. This is a great bit of kit, originally developed by US law enforcement because it's so easy to use, very successful, easy to learn and durable as old boots. I mean, I've had one of these knocking about my box of tricks for about 20 years and it's still great. Little bit of oil occasionally, like once every few years. An absolutely fantastic bit of kit. So you're going to get that and you're going to get a selection of needles and a tension wrench. So let me show you those. There you go. You're going to get two, I suppose we'll call them standard ones. One that's slightly longer and one with an angle in it for harder to reach locks. And the tension wrench. Now I'm going to make this video for real beginners, so I'm going to go into some detail about how this works. But let's start off by putting one of those needles into the gun. This is simple enough. You see it's got a slope going down on it. Well, with that down, that just simply inserts in there like that. And then we tighten that up. It's just a Phillips screw. Easy. Okay, now one thing I have to mention. Locks in America, pin cylinders, are set like this, with the pins above the keyway. In Europe and the UK, locks are set like this, with the pins below the keyway. Now the manual pick gun is available in two types. This one, which is the up gun. If you watch the needle, it goes down slightly to build up power, and then it flicks upwards. And that's for locks with the pins above the keyway in America. If you encounter locks like this more frequently, you're going to want to get the gun where the needle fires down. Okay, it's all clearly marked on the website. It's simple enough to work out. So, how does it work? Well, with a lock, let's have a look. A lock is made up of the housing, which is the main bit. This bit here, which we call the plug, and the keyway. Inside the lock are a series of pins, split pins in fact. 4, 5, 6, 7, usually 5 or 6. This one here is 6. So there's 6 split pins along here. And they're all sprung loaded. Those springs are pushing those split pins down. And it's blocking that area there. It's blocking the bit between the plug and the housing. Meaning the plug can't turn. And if the plug can't turn, this bit, the cam, will not open the door. So what we need to do is mimic what a key does. Now a key, as you can see, is a series of peaks and troughs. When we put that into the lock, it allows the split pins to, the bottom half to sit down in the plug and the top half to sit along that shear line. That's what it's called. That line along there is called the shear line. Okay, and that then allows the plug to turn and, as you can see here, the lock to open. If we were picking this traditionally using what's known as a single pin picking method, we'd insert a tension tool and add a slight amount of pressure. That causes a very, very tiny ridge to form along here. Very tiny ledge, a fraction of a millimetre. And then with a lockpick, we'd go in the keyway and one by one pick those split pins. So the top half is sitting on the ledge we've created. When they're all done, that little bit of pressure will allow the plug to turn. Okay? With a pick gun, what we do, we take all the complexity out of working out how to individually pick those pins, because they need to be picked in a certain order. That's something you'll learn when you learn about single pin picking. With a pick gun, we haven't got to worry about any of that. We put the tension tool in, we apply a bit of pressure, and then we just repeatedly pull the trigger. Okay, causes all those pins to dance around in there until all the top parts of the pins are sitting on that ledge, and then bang, the plug turns, the lock's open. Now, there's one thing I need to tell you that's very important. When you put the pick gun into the needle into the lock, make sure you stay flush with the shear line. You don't want to be going like that, or like that, or out, or the other way. Just stay nice and central. If you go like this, or any of those variations, at best, you're not going to open the lock. At worst, you're going to snap your needle in your lock, maybe causing you more problems. If you look at the front of the lock, you'll see it's like a zigzag pattern. Most keyways are like that. They're called the wards, and the wards continue throughout the length of the lock, and that's called the warding. When you're firing your pick gun in the lock, make sure that the needle is being allowed to hit the pins rather than just smash into that warding there. Can you see that one that sticks out? So if you go in underneath that, you might just be hitting the warding, and you'll know because there's nowhere for the needle to go, so it just sends a sort of a little jolt back down the gun. The best way to learn this, or just get used to avoiding the warding, is when you put the gun in, you can just push it up. You can just feel the spring of the pins, because obviously they're spring loaded, and you can just feel that there, so you know what angle and whereabouts to put the needle, so you're not just slamming into the warding. Okay, one more thing, tension. Don't make the mistake of thinking you're trying to push that round. You're never going to push that round. There's little bits of brass there, the pins, stopping you from pushing that round. What you want to be doing is just gently resting your finger on it. As you pull the trigger of the pick gun, you can just gently pulse it like that. Okay? It's such a minimal amount of pressure. The biggest mistake I see people making is too much tension, too much pressure on the tension tool. So let's give this a go. We'll give that, turn that round. Right, that one. The one we started with. That's, oh, motorbikes. That's quite a complex biting there. That's what we call that. Let's see how this goes. Amazing. There you go. Now, you see it got a little bit lodged up there. That's because when the keyway is that side upside down, the pins are being allowed to fall back in there. It's easily sorted. You put the pick gun in, push it up to get the pins out of the way, and then you can carry on turning it round and unlocking the lock. Okay, amazing. And that was with that key. So let's have a go at some others. We got this one here. So tension tool in. Small amount of pressure. I'm trying to get this at an angle so that you can see it. Needle in. And we just pull the trigger. Amazing. Another lock open. We'll go this one. Just make sure it's locked. See, that's the actual bit that engages with the locking mechanism of the door, and the bit we want to move. Insert the tension tool. Needle in. I can feel the pins, no problem. Now that's quite interesting. It moved round slightly, but something's happened. It could be a false set, a pin might have been stuck. There might be something wrong with this lock. So I'm going to set that back. If you do get a problem like that and you feel the plug move round slightly, if you're going to pick it again, set it from the start again. Just move the tension tool left and right so we can make sure all the pins are back in their original place. So put the needle in. And there you go. Oh, there's another lock. Open. The manual pick gun. It's a classic bit of kit. I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you very much. Happy lock picking.